What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I'd love to talk about all things Peloton cycling and fitness. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single Sunday. Today's video is a continuation. I am in the throes of Total Strength 2 by Andy Speer on Peloton. It's a 6-week strength program. I've already done the first 2 weeks and uploaded a video on that, and this video will be weeks 3 and 4. So we're just gonna get right on into it. When I advance to week 3, the description is, this week, Andy adds additional class to your regimen and begins each workout with a focus on a specific training attribute. So I'm interested. 4 days of strength a week is definitely progressing it in its own, and we add a 45-minute strength class. So we're not added a shorty, and today is the extra 45-minute class. So I'm interested to see how it is, and I feel like in weeks 1 and 2, he really hinted that in weeks 3 and 4, we were going to amp it up and really kind of change the format of the program. And I'm ready. I'm ready to amp up the strength. I'm ready to lift heavy. We'll see what we do. I'm very, very curious. Today is day 1 of week 3. The first class is a 10-minute warm-up. The description is, take this 10-minute strength-focused warm-up to prepare your mind and body for each workout. See you on the mat. And there's a new warm-up each week, and yeah, it's the same all week. So hopefully I like this one. I think it should be a progression on last week, so it should be fine. And then we get right on into the main class of the day, class 2, which is a 45-minute full body strength class. The description is, start the week strong, focus on the form and technique needed to generate power in this 45-minute full body class. I don't really know what that means, so we'll see. And then today ends with a 10-minute stretch, but I really do not like the stretch in this program, so I'll be stretching on my own. So that is what is on the agenda for today. Let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out week 3, day 1. The 10-minute warm-up was basically exactly what I expected. Very, very similar to last week's warm-up and the weeks before. Just a little bit of different moves, a little bit of progression. We did things like hip bridges again, but instead of doing a high hip bridge, we did like a low hip bridge, and then we did our kickouts on one side. And I honestly don't know if that's harder than a high hip bridge, but it is different. We also did things like side planks. We did our skips. I don't think it was like any crazy progression that it's way harder, but it is a warm up and it's body weight and it is effective. So no complaints there. Then we went into the 45-minute full body strength class, which I thought was just solidly okay. Andy did comment during it that he's like, tomorrow is complex day, so you don't want to end this class feeling like you're super, super tired, right? With 4 days of strength a week, you can't go super hard every single day. Andy did say the goal of the class was to basically feel like you did work, but yeah, not feel like super intense muscle burn. And I think he did reach that goal, but I also think that that came with just a lot of recovery. And maybe I should have pushed weights a little bit higher, but I feel like I chose the correct weights. So when we started off, Andy was like, grab a heavy set and then a heavier set. And I really didn't know what to grab. The only move he said was shoulder presses. So initially I grabbed 15 and 20, but then I quickly bumped up to 20 and 25. And maybe in the future I could bump up to 25 and 30 or just choose 25 for more of the moves. I think that's probably more realistic. So I feel like 20 and 25 weights is like a good challenge for me, especially for a 45-minute class. We had an 8-minute body weight warm-up, and this warm-up was actually fairly intense. And there was one move in it I just could not do. He wanted you to be in a bear plank with your knees off the ground and doing a bird dog. And I just don't have the balance. I could not do that move at all. But think that caliber of moves, it was a pretty intense warm up. I would almost just consider it a body strength section where the true warm-up was the 10-minute warm-up, but I have no problem with that considering we do have a 10-minute warm-up class before this. I'm like ready to get into the action. Then before we got into kind of our first big set, we did like a little bit of marching, which I just like really don't get the marching, but basically it was like holding it over our head on one side, marching, I think for only like 20 or 30 seconds, then doing it on the other side, then going up to our heavier weight and just holding it at our side and doing the marching again. I guess that's like kind of part of warm up. I don't really understand. I don't know if I'm doing the move wrong, but I really don't feel like I get a lot out of that. Then we got into our first EMOM of the day, which was 6 overhead presses on one side and then 6 overhead presses on the other side. And we did this for 5 minutes straight. I had about 20 to 25 seconds of recovery and I feel like that was fine. I used 20 pounds the entire time. I thought 15 would be too light, which I agree with. And then, I don't know, I feel like 25 would have been too hard. I think that 20 pounds was good for, 5 minutes of continuous work. You do get a little recovery there, but nothing too crazy. So I was happy with that set, got a little shoulder burn. Then the next set was mostly a deadlift set. We did 40 seconds of dumbbell deadlifts where I wanted you to hold the weights at the bottom for a second, which definitely, amplifies it a little bit. I was feeling the burn. And then a 10-second transition and then a 10-second broad jump, which is just being at the back of your mat, going down into like kind of a squat and then jumping forward and then walking back. But 10 seconds of that, he was like, get 2 or 3 reps in. I always tried to go for 3 because then after that, we got a full minute of rest. I used 25 pounds for the deadlifts and maybe next time I would try to push to 30. It wasn't like it was super, super easy. Like towards the end of the 40 seconds of the deadlifts, I felt tired. But with the 1 minute recovery, there was just like a lot of recovery and we did that 5 times. But I do like deadlifts, so like it wasn't the end of the world and holding it at the bottom definitely does progress it a little bit, but maybe I could push weight a little bit more next time. Then we did an 8-minute EMOM where we did 3 dumbbell snatches on one side. And then on the last one, you held it up and you did 1 reverse lunge and you did that like little complex twice in the minute. That only took about 30 seconds. So again, you got like a decent amount of recovery and you were also alternating sides. So again, I felt like this was pretty easy. I used 20 pounds just because usually I don't hold more than 20 pounds above my head. But again, maybe next time I would try to progress to 25. None of these things felt like super easy, which is why I didn't end up pushing weight, but nothing felt super hard. And I do feel like I met Andy's goal of like feeling like you had a good workout, but you're like not super burned out because you are going to be doing complexes tomorrow. But it was just like interesting. It's a very different way than the way that I usually work out. And then we finished off with a little core burner. We did 20 seconds of wood chops, 10 seconds rest, 4 times. So 2 times on each side. Then we did a side plank and did bird dogs for 30 seconds on one side and then 30 seconds on the other side. Then, which I thought this was kind of a interesting move, we took a light dumbbell, so 15 pounds, and we like held it up over us while we were in a side plank. That was definitely a shoulder burn. I honestly don't feel like it really activated my core that much more, but you could feel it in the shoulder a lot that wasn't holding the weight, that was holding you up because they have, the extra 15 pounds. And we did that 30 seconds, 4 times, so 2 times on each side. And yeah, I don't know if I've ever done that move. If so, I haven't done it in a while. I actually really like that one. And then we finished off with a minute of Renegade Rows burnout, and then the class was over. I do like that we did EMOMs. Like I generally like EMOMs and I like that we had kind of longer sets. Like I don't feel like the class dragged per se, but yeah, just like a lot of recovery. And I almost think I would have preferred to just do all the same moves, but just in 30 minutes because yeah, I just feel like there was a lot of rest time, but I do think that was Andy's goal. And usually Andy has a purpose for the way that he structures things, so I'm just going to trust the process and we'll see how the rest of the week goes. But enjoyability for today, I would give like maybe a 6.5 out of 10. There were a lot of moves that I liked. Like I like the snatches, I like deadlifts, I really like hinge movements as you can see. So I like the moves, but I did think that it was a little boring at times. He tries to keep it lively, but 45 minutes is a long time. And then difficulty, I would give like a 6 out of 10. I think part of that's on me. I think I could have pushed the weights harder, but you also get like a ton of recovery in this class. So interesting first day, and I'm excited to see how day 2 goes tomorrow. It is now the next day, and I'm ready for day 2 recommended of week 3. It's not even that I'm skipping a recovery day. It is recommended that we do this today, which I think is, again, part of the reason why yesterday was a little bit on the easier side. So today's agenda is a 10-minute warm-up, the same one we did yesterday, and then right into a 30-minute full body strength class. The description is, this class focuses on complexes to level up power and conditioning. Get ready to squat, push press, and clean. I'm very curious if it's going to be similar to complexes. I think that it probably will be because I do see Andy in the cover photo in a reverse lunge with his weights in front of him. So I think we're going back to the isometric holds, which is totally fine. And then there's a 10-minute stretch that I am going to skip once again. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out week 3, day 2. This class was easily the best class in the program so far. I am so excited. We are back. I feel like today we did complexes, but we were also lifting heavy. It was just overall a phenomenal class. And yeah, I'm really excited that the program is like finally going in that direction. I feel like we were building up to it, and now we're ready to really put the work in. So we had our 10-minute warm-up, same as yesterday, no complaints. Then we got into the 30-minute strength class where we had a 6-minute body weight warm-up. It was like very average. I feel like the weirdest thing in it was we actually did bear planks again. And I feel like we should have done today's warm-up yesterday because we were in the bear plank and then we were like practicing lifting like one limb up at a time for just a couple of seconds. And I feel like, yeah, I need to practice that more before I can go into the bird dog that we did yesterday. But whatever, no complaints. I could do the moves today. We practiced balancing in a bear plank, which is always good. Then we got into the main set and we had a couple different complexes. The first complex was 6 push presses, 5 dumbbell cleans, and 4 dumbbell squats. And he's like, this should take roughly 30 seconds. So we're going at like a pretty fast pace. And then you have a minute of recovery. So if you go a little bit over, you still have a lot of time to recover. Seeing the moves and knowing that basically the only arm movement is push presses, which you do get support from your legs and core in that. I chose 25 pounds, which was definitely a push weight for me, but it felt good. And you got that minute of recovery. So I never felt like I was like super gassed. It was pretty low rep. And yeah, I'm very happy with that weight. Felt like it was a good workout. We did that 4 times. Then we moved into the next complex, which I went down to 20 pounds for because it was 6 high pulls. You could like use your knees a little bit. So again, using your legs a little bit, 8 bent over rows and 10 RDLs. I feel like for RDLs, 20 pounds is quite light for me, but again, we were only supposed to take about 45 seconds to do this complex, and then we got a minute 15 rest. And I feel like this was way higher rep. So if I had gone and stayed at 25 pounds, it would have taken me too long, especially for the high pulls. Like it is a full body movement, but you are using your arm strength too. And then going right into the rows. I feel like I was happy with the 20 pounds. I do think in the future, maybe there is possibility of pushing up to 25. But for today, 20 pounds felt good. We did that 3 times. Then we revisited, the beautiful isometric lunge holds, and Andy's like, push the weight today. So I went up from my 7.5 pounds to my 10 pounds, which does not sound like a lot, but I could feel it. So we did our 3 reverse lunges, then held it in isometric hold while doing 8 bicep curls, then 3 reverse lunges, other side, 8 shoulder presses, and then 3 reverse lunges back to the original side, 8 bicep curls into the shoulder presses, Definitely harder. I'm not gonna lie, during the bicep curl shoulder press combo, I did have to like stand up for a couple seconds and then go back into the hold. I just feel like I am getting better, but the isometric holds really kill me. And then obviously holding it for so long while you're doing the bicep curls and the overhead presses, it's definitely a burnout, definitely gets the heart rate up. Then we had a 10-second rest, and then we did 20 seconds of dumbbell thrusters. We were doing this with our light weights, but honestly, my legs were pretty dead from the isometric holds. So it didn't feel hard in terms of the arm part, but just doing the squats felt hard. Then we had a 10-second rest, and then we did our 20 seconds of alternating lunge jumps, which are not my favorite, but I don't mind them in the context here. But again, hard, it's really amping up the heart rate. And yeah, like you're pretty dead from the isometric holds and then the squats. So it feels hard. We are working. Then we got a 1-minute rest, and then we did that all over again where we were having the longer holds on the other side for the isometric holds. And then there's only 2 minutes left of class. I mean, I feel like 30 minutes really flies by. And we just did a minute of forearm side planks where we were like alternating. So you'd go on one side for like 5 seconds and then go down and then go on the other side. No complaints. I feel like side planks for me are not that difficult. So I never have problems with the side planks. Then 30 seconds of Russian twist, and then finishing off with 30 seconds of hollow body hold. And my hollow body hold was not pretty, but we did get through it. He was like, if you need to, bend one leg at a time to like kind of give yourself a break. And I did need to do that, but we never broke out of it. So I am proud. And then the class was over. I really, really liked today's class. We lifted heavy. I pushed my weight a little bit more. I'm like seeing where we're going with this. I like the complexes with less reps, but going with a little bit heavier of a weight. I liked all the moves. Andy was in the great mood. I would be curious to see. I feel like he plays Katy Perry in every single class, which no complaints. Katy Perry has some bops, but it is interesting how much he seems to like her. Enjoyability, I would give like a 9 out of 10. I really like this class. I'm hoping that, we see more classes like this in the future. I do think that there's only one complex day a week, but yeah, I'm very curious about the other 2 classes in this week now. And difficulty, I would give like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. We were lifting heavy, but again, you do get a lot of recovery with Andy, which I really have no problem with. When you are lifting heavy, you want that recovery. So today was 2 thumbs up, and I'm excited for my rest day tomorrow. It is now 2 days later. It's Thursday morning. We had a nice rest day from strength yesterday. And I was a little bit sore yesterday, so I was definitely glad to have the rest day. But now we're feeling good. We're feeling ready for day 4 recommended, which starts off with a 10-minute warm-up, the same one we've been doing. And then we're going into our second 45-minute full body strength class of the week. The description is you're almost halfway through the program. Prepare to face new challenges in this 45-minute full body strength class. And that is incredibly vague. So we'll find out what this class is like when we get there. Let's go gym, hit the mat, and knock out week 3, day 4. Andy must have heard me saying that the first class in this week, 45 minutes, was on the easier side because today he really brought it, but I just love the format. I feel like we've really hit a stride in this program now, and I was really happy. My only concern is that in the programming, you're not supposed to take a rest day. You're supposed to go to day 5 tomorrow. And I think I'll be sore from today, but we'll see. So we started off, had the 10-minute warm-up. That was great, fine. We know the drill there. Then we got into the 45-minute class where we had 8 minutes of body weight warm-up. Again, we did bear planks. We did some greatest stretches, pretty typical body weight warm-up. Then we got into the main set. So the different sets in the class today were either 1 or 2 moves. And yeah, basically trying to lift pretty heavy. Andy said to grab 2 sets of medium weights and 1 set of heavy weights. I grabbed 15, 20, 25. And I do feel like those were the right weights for me and that I could push to 25 pounds a lot of the time, which like felt good, but I never felt like I could push to 30. So we started off, and our first set was 1 minute of dumbbell squats, 15-second rest, 30 seconds of dumbbell squats, 15 seconds rest, and then 15 seconds of dumbbell squats, and then thankfully a 90-second rest before we repeated that again. Because man, oh man, Andy was like, hello, we're just coming right out of the gate. I did 25 pounds. He said to use your heavy weights, and like that was a challenge. It didn't feel bad, but it was a challenge. Once I got to my 90-second rest, I really, really wanted it. The only nice thing here is that like I didn't go like crazy fast, but like I kept pace. I didn't take breaks. Definitely a good first set to really wake up the body, wake up the mind, tell you that we are really going to work. Then we went down on our backs and we did 20 seconds of a crush press, so our weights pushed together, and then 40 seconds of alternating chest presses. And then we got a minute of rest and repeated that. The first time, Andy said to use your heavy weights, and that if you needed to, you could drop down to your medium weights. I thought that 25 pounds would be really heavy, so the first time I did 20 pounds, but then once I did that, I was like, I feel like with a full minute of recovery, I should have done 25, and Andy was like, you should be using your heavy weights. I'm like, okay. So then the second time I used 25 pounds, and that was really hard. I feel like it should have been a drop set. I should have done 25 first and then 20. But I'm glad that, I tried the 25 pounds. It was hard, but we got through it. Then we went down to our heavy medium weights, so 20 pounds, and we did 20 seconds of a isometric lateral lunge hold. Then I think 10 seconds of pulsing on the same side, and then 30 seconds of just a typical lateral lunge. This, you definitely felt the burnout. I felt it especially in the pulsing. Then we got 15 seconds rest, did the other side that whole minute again, 15 seconds rest, and then 45 seconds of push-ups. And I did my push-ups on my knees. I just feel like after doing the chest presses the previous set, I was like, there's no way I can even like do any off my knees. I do feel like in the future I could progress and try to do some off my knees, but not today. I was very, very tired. And we did that set 3 times. Then we went back up to our heavy weights and we did 40 seconds of renegade row on one side. We were in a like tabletop position for this, so a little bit easier than a plank. Then 10 seconds rest, 40 seconds of renegade row on the other side, 10 seconds rest, and then 40 seconds of just one weight dumbbell lat pullover, 30 seconds rest. And we did that twice. We did a lot of things twice in the class today, which I liked. Then we had a little ab burnout. We did a minute of bicycles, 20-second hip bridge, and then straight into a minute of bicycles again. Honestly, bicycles are not my favorite, but the first minute felt good. After the 20-second hip bridge, they were significantly harder, but again, we got through it. Then after the ab burnout, we had a little arm burnout. So we had a minute of work where we did 6 alternating hammer curls and then 6 alternating like rotating curls. And we just did that at AMRAP. 1 minute rest, and then we did 30 seconds of bicep curl and then 30 seconds of alternating hammer curl, and then the class was done. We definitely did like a lot of mini sets today, but first off, I really like straight sets. I like just doing one move, so I had no complaints there. And then even when we weren't doing that, we were doing like pretty simple, just 1-2 movements, and I feel like it was really effective. I definitely felt the burn, definitely a lot less recovery than what we've been doing, but I feel like in between sets, we still did get a good amount of recovery. It never felt impossible, but man, oh man, it felt hard. Difficulty for today, I would give like an 8 out of 10. Like while you were in it, you were working, but we did get the recovery, which was good. And enjoyability, I would give like a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed today's class. I feel like it was structured well. I like the straight sets, and yeah, I just really have no complaints, except that I'm a little nervous for how I'm gonna feel tomorrow for the last strength class of the week, but 2 thumbs up for today. It is now the next day, it's Friday morning, and we're ready to wrap up week 3, just like wrapping up the work week as well. Fridays are always good, but yeah, I'm interested to see how today goes. I'm not sore from yesterday, but I also don't feel like completely recovered. So I'm interested. I feel like that's like probably part of Andy's plan, put in a lot of trust in this man, but we'll see. So we start off with the 10-minute warm up, and then we go into the 30-minute full body strength class. The description is wrap up week 3 with this 30-minute full body workout. Today, Andy introduces the first conditioning circuit class. And honestly, I don't even really know what conditioning means. To me, that means like kind of just doing a lot of moves in a row and doing them at like a lower weight. But we'll see it because this is the first conditioning class. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out the last day of week 3. I thought this was a really good class to wrap up the week, and it also makes sense that it's scheduled back to back with the 45-minute class because today is kind of lighter weights but more reps. And yeah, usually that's not my jam, but I did like the structure of the class, and I just feel like everything that Andy programs is like so intentional that today felt good and I like really enjoyed it. And yeah, I feel like it's very different than what we've been doing in this program, but not in a bad way. So we started off, we had a 10-minute bodyweight warm-up, which we've been doing. I'm ready to retire this one and go on to the next one. I feel like I could do it by memory after doing it 4 times. Also, my iPad was just like not having it today. I think I need to update it. I pretty much only use my iPad to take Peloton classes. And yeah, I just could not get the classes to play on my iPad. So hopefully I can get it working because I do like the bigger screen. It's like hard to see the moves on my phone. But you know, we had some tech issues, but we got in. We did the bodyweight warm up. That was good. Then we moved on to the class where there was another 5-minute bodyweight warm up. That was fine, pretty normal. We did some moves that we were gonna see in the circuit, which was nice. Like we did like a crab where you're on all fours and then you like lift yourself up. And that was nice just because like I have done that move before, but I haven't done it in a while. So it was nice to like warm up and then see it in the circuit. And then we got into the main set, which was just one circuit that we did 4 times. It was a 5-minute circuit, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, and then an additional minute rest in between each repeat. And we did dumbbell snatches with just one dumbbell. Then we did a suitcase squat up to a hammer curl, up to a push press, where you're essentially like supposed to use the momentum to kind of keep it going, keep it smooth. Then we did wood chops. Then we did reverse lunge, just holding one weight. And then we finished off with doing 4 crab reaches where we were going over like one side and then doing 1 candlestick and just repeating that. That was a circuit 4 times, and then the class was over. Very, very simple. I did not really know what weights to use. So Andy was like, you should use like heavy medium weights for basically everything except for wood chops, and then use mediums for wood chops. And I was between if I should bump up to 20 pounds, but I stayed at 15 just because it kind of seemed like you didn't get a lot of recovery, like you're doing a lot of reps. And I do feel like the 15 felt good. Like it wasn't supposed to be a super hard class. If I did 20 pounds, I would have had to go slower. You know, it would have been a little less endurance and a little more like lifting heavy, going slower, getting the reps right. While 15, I could really like knock out these reps. So overall, I think 15 was right. He's also like, we're going to build onto this. So it's definitely going to get harder. This is only the first week that we have this. I'm not too concerned. And also like, I'm still a little bit tired from yesterday. So I feel like 15 was good. I just stuck with 15 for the wood chops as well. And yeah, like some moves were easier than others in my opinion. Like wood chops at 15 is, you know, not the easiest thing in the world. And also the suitcase squat, hammer curl, push press combo. Like that's a lot of moving parts. 15 pounds in both hands is a little more loaded. But then something like a reverse lunge with only 1 15-pound is definitely easier. So yeah, I feel like that is the way that he programmed it and that's how it was supposed to feel. So felt pretty good. And yeah, that was it. The class was over. I do like the mega sets. It does make the class really fly by in my opinion. Enjoyability today, I would give like a 8 out of 10, which is pretty high for me for a conditioning set like this. I'm not usually into kind of like the higher reps, lower weight, but I like the moves, and I feel like, yeah, everything was very intentional, and it felt like we really had a purpose of being in this class. Difficulty, I would give like a 6 out of 10. I don't think it was super difficult. If I went up in weight, it probably would have been harder, but I think that that is what is meant for 4 days of strength. Not every single day it's going to be like lift super, super heavy. Overall, this was a great way to wrap up week 3. I'm ready for my 2 rest days before starting week 4 next week. It is now Monday morning. We had 2 days of rest from strength. I did some yoga yesterday. We're feeling great. We're feeling ready to tackle week 4. And I'm very excited about day 1. We have a new 10-minute warm-up. The description is, take this 10-minute strength-focused warm-up to prepare your mind and body for each workout. See you on the mat. And I'm definitely ready for a new warm-up. I mean, they're usually pretty similar to the previous weeks, but I'm still ready for a new one. And then we're going into a 45-minute full-body strength class. The description is, Andy kicks off week 4 with heavy lifting. Prepare to press and lunge in this 45-minute full-body class. And I love heavy lifting, so this should be a good class. 45 minutes is definitely a long one, but I trust Andy. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out week 4, day 1. This class was a great way to start the week. We're definitely working now. First off, the 10-minute warm-up was good, very similar to the previous warm-up. So we did things like hip bridges, side planks, and everything was like a little bit of a progression. One progression that I thought was like particularly interesting is that we had always done like standing up and then a walkout into a plank and then going into world's greatest stretch. But this time we like lifted one foot into like a marching position, and then we kept that foot up the whole time. So doing a plank walkout with just one foot, it's actually not like that much harder, but I did think it was kind of an interesting progression. And then at the end, like walking up with only one foot, you know, just making things a little bit harder, a little more interesting. But overall, it was a like good warm up. Another interesting thing we did was we've been practicing a lot of balancing work. So like doing airplanes, but now like twisting to one side while we're doing an airplane. That really tests my balance, so I think it's a good thing to like add into the warm-up. But yeah, warm-up, pretty basic, pretty much what I expected. No complaints there. Then we went into the main class where we started off with an 8-minute warm-up. The majority of that was body weight. We did like a little bit of like marching with one dumbbell up and like lunges with one dumbbell up at the end, but like very minimal. Majority body weight, and that warm-up was also good. I feel like the most important thing to know is that we did practice body weight Turkish get-ups because we were doing Turkish get-ups in this class, so I definitely appreciated that. I like Turkish get-ups, but it's not something that I do typically, and there's like a lot of moving parts to that, so I could always use a review. Then we got into the full body set, and Andy right off the bat is like, we're lifting heavy today, which if I remember correctly, last week, the first 45-minute class was not that hard. Like we didn't lift that heavy. So I appreciate just like the straight up, we're lifting heavy today, like go hard. And we started off with an EMOM that was with one weight, 6 shoulder presses. So on one side, and then he said to either use one weight or pick up a second dumbbell and then do 6 reverse lunges on the same side. I like this EMOM, like you're only doing 12 reps, so definitely you can push weight. And this is also very, very similar to the strength test we did in week 1. So I can see we're practicing, we're going up. I did not hear Andy, or I did not understand correctly. I thought we were gonna do it 6 times, so 3 times on each side, but we actually did it 14 times. So 7 times on each side, where the first time was like a warm-up set. And then, yeah, the other time was 12 minutes of work. So definitely a huge mega set EMOM. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that I misheard Andy because I actually pushed up to 25 pounds, which is quite a lot for me, especially for shoulder presses. And if I heard that I was going to do it, 12 times at that weight, I probably wouldn't have. So I'm glad that there was a misunderstanding and I pushed the weight anyways. So for the first 2 times, I did 20 pounds, grabbed a second 20-pound for the reverse lunges, and then the last 6 times, I did 25 pounds and then grabbed both 25 pounds for the reverse lunges. This was definitely a huge push for me. The reverse lunges less so because I feel like doing 6 reverse lunges is like not that many. But the shoulder presses, definitely a huge push. This is the heaviest weight I've ever done for shoulder presses. And the right side, honestly, felt pretty good. The left side was definitely more of a struggle. So it is interesting because I didn't realize like how unbalanced my 2 sides were, but this program's really, showing that to me and really highlighting that. So it's something to work on. I'm glad I pushed the weight, and I'm glad that now I know I can do it, so I really don't have an excuse to not keep doing 25 pounds when we're doing asymmetrical work. But yeah, I like that EMOM, thought it was a good one. Then we went into another EMOM, which I also liked. We did this for 9 minutes, where the odd minutes was just 10 deadlifts, and then the even minutes was just 1 Turkish get-up, alternating sides. So we did the deadlifts 5 times, and then the Turkish get-ups 4 times, so 2 on each side. The deadlifts, I went up to 30 pounds. Honestly, I think I might even be able to go up to 35. Those felt good. I love deadlifts. 10 deadlifts in a minute is like very reasonable. You have recovery time. The Turkish get-ups, I stayed at 15 pounds. I think maybe I could push up to 20 in the future, but I just feel like there's a lot of movement going on there. If you don't know, like Turkish get-ups, you are like on the ground and then you have your dumbbell above you and you essentially like slowly get up until you're in a kneeling position and then you stand up. So there's like a lot of moving parts. I haven't done them in a while. I feel like 15 pounds was still good, and like now I feel more confident that if we do them again in this program, I could probably go up the weight a little bit, but this was a good time. Like I wasn't doing them crazy fast. It was still a good move to do. So again, really like that EMOM, and like I like these big chunks. The class is going by pretty quick. After that, we had a little core burnout. So we did 20 seconds of wood chops on one side, 20 seconds on the other side. I used 15 pounds for those. Then 30 seconds of lateral bird dog on one side, 30 seconds on the other side. Then 30 seconds of forearm side planks hip dips, one side and then the other side. We got 10 seconds rest in between all of these core moves. So I like a little bit of transition time. And we did that twice. And then there was 1 minute left in class and we did a plank where we were not on our knees and we did like a T rotation. And then in between the rotations, he wanted you to do a push-up. I did 4 push-ups off my knees, which I'm pretty proud of. I'm not that good at push-ups. It was the end of class. I was tired. After that, I just like went down to my knees and did the push-ups and it was fine. But, at least I pushed through 4 off the knees. That's how you get better. And then the class was over. I love this class today. I like lifting heavy. I love EMOMs. Like that's definitely my preferred like method of strength training. I like going really heavy and then having the recovery every single minute. And yeah, I like the moves. Really no complaints. It was a great class and I'm a little nervous for tomorrow because we do have stuff scheduled on day 2 and I feel like I really brought it today, but I trust Andy. Difficulty, I would give this like a 8 out of 10. It was pretty difficult, but again, you do get the recovery. I do like the EMOM format. I don't think anything was like super hard and there was no point where I was like doing back-to-back minutes of work where I wasn't getting any recovery. And I felt like because of the way it was structured, you could like push weight pretty well, get a good workout, but also still get good recovery. Enjoyability, I would give like a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this class. Felt like we got in, we did the work. 45 minutes definitely has the possibility to drag, but especially like the first 2 EMOMs just took huge chunks out of the class. And like when I'm in the EMOM, I'm focusing and the time is really flying by. So yeah, I just feel like today's class was structured really well. Felt like we got a good workout in. It was enjoyable. Time went by quick and we lifted heavy. So great way to kick off week 4. And I'm excited and nervous for tomorrow's class. It is now the next morning and I'm not gonna lie, my butt does feel a little bit sore, but nothing too bad. And I'm very interested to see. I feel like last week, the classes that you took back to back really complemented each other. So I'm just going to have to keep trusting Andy. But today we have a 10-minute warm up, the same one we did yesterday. And then we're getting into a 30-minute full body strength class today. The description is, we'll increase volume and workload using a familiar complex in this 30-minute full body class. So complex doesn't sound too bad, usually means like not super heavy, but we'll see. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out week 4, day 2. I liked today's class, but man, oh man, am I excited for my rest day tomorrow. Definitely a hard push, but I kind of did push myself hard knowing that we were going to get the rest day. But yeah, Andy was not going easy in today's class. I feel like we're really getting into the hard work of the program. So we started off, we had the 10-minute warm up, same as yesterday. That was fine. Then we got into the 30-minute full body strength class. That was all complexes. We did another 5-minute body weight warm up, and then we got into our first complex. And the only good thing is we did have a lot of recovery. So the first one we did 5 times and it took around 30 seconds. And then we got 50 seconds of rest. It was 5 push presses, 4 dumbbell cleans, and 3 dumbbell squats. We did this last week and we did one more rep of everything. So we did 6 push presses, 5 cleans, 4 squats. So he's like, push the weight. So the first set I did 20 pounds and then the last 4 sets I did 25 pounds. And this was a huge push for me. The only good thing is it's not a lot of reps, right? It's 12 reps and you do it in 30 seconds and you get 50 seconds of recovery. So that was like the saving grace, but definitely just hard out of the gate. He did say that this would be like the heaviest of weights. So yeah, I knew I wanted to push myself. Definitely not fully recovered from yesterday. So it was a push, but it felt good. 25-pound push presses are definitely the hardest for me, but honestly, everything was, kind of hard by the time that we repeated it a couple of times. Then we went into our next complex, which we also did last week. It was 6 high pulls, 8 bent over rows, and 10 RDLs. The thing here is that I should be able to do 25 pounds for all of these moves, but he wants you to move like pretty quickly. So 20 pounds is definitely the right weight for me. That's what I did. We did this 4 times. It was 45 seconds on with 1 minute rest. So you can see that here we did 24 reps compared to 12 reps with only 45 seconds. So definitely faster moving. And yeah, like this one was hard to do quickly, but 20 pounds felt good. Another big push. And then we finished off with our isometric holds, which I will say I am getting a lot better. I really, really struggled with it when we first did it. So it does feel good to make progress. This is the same complex that we've done every single week. 3 reverse lunges, 8 hammer curls, 3 reverse lunges, 8 wide grip shoulder presses, 3 reverse lunges, 8 hammer curl into wide grip shoulder press. That is so hard. I did 10 pounds. I don't think I can do any heavier than that, but I didn't come out of the lunge at all during the move. So I'm definitely seeing progress. It definitely is feeling easier, but it is hard. Then we had a 10-second rest, 20 seconds of dumbbell thrusters with the 10 pounds again. So low weight, but honestly, your legs are just so dead that it still feels hard. 10-second rest and then 20 seconds of alternating lunge jump, which again, very hard. He really wants you to go like super fast, super explosive. I try to keep like a decent pace, but I would definitely say I'm not going fast. I'm not going like the slowest possible, but yeah, it is a very hard part of the class for me. The heart rate is skyrocketing. Like my heart rate was at 160, which is very, very high for a strength class. And we did that 3 times. And then we finished off with a little 90-second AMRAP that was 8 hollow body rocks, and then 8 plank marches. And he's like aim for 3 sets. I did 1.5 sets. Like I was moving the whole time. I didn't stop, but man, oh man, I was not going fast. I was so dead. This class was definitely a huge push for me. Very like cardio challenging as well. I was in zone 3 for 35% of the class, which is very high for me for strength. Enjoyability, I would give like a 7 out of 10. I think that it's not exactly like how I like to work out. I definitely like to do lifting heavy more, but I do see like the purpose of this. And I did like that we got recovery. Like it was never like a slog of 5 minutes of complexes straight. So it was still structured well. It was just hard, and doing the isometric holds and the thrusters and the lunge jumps are not my absolute favorite, but we got through them. Difficulty today, I would give like a 8.5 out of 10. I think it does feel more difficult taking it right after day 1. Like I think if I was fresh, this class would still be a challenge, but it was extra challenging today because I was just off of a class where I worked really hard yesterday as well. But overall, definitely a good day. We're definitely getting into the meat of the program, and I'm very excited for my rest day tomorrow. It is now 2 days later. I had a very nice rest day yesterday. I was definitely a bit sore, a bit tired, but today I'm feeling a lot better and I'm ready to go at day 4 recommended, which is the 10-minute warm-up that we've been doing all week. And then we're going into another 45-minute full body strength. The description is, hypertrophy training is the focus of this 45-minute full body strength class. So I definitely expect it to be hard today, but you know, I'm excited, I'm ready to go. So let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out week 4, day 4. I think that for me, this is the hardest class of the week. Hypertrophy just means burnout, basically, in my opinion. And yeah, we definitely did get some burnout today. So we had the 10-minute warm-up, that was good. Then we got into the 45-minute class where we did another 8-minute body weight warm-up. Then we got into our first set, which was a straight set. It was dumbbell squats, and we got 15 seconds rest in between each portion of work, but we did a minute of dumbbell squats, then 45 seconds, then 30 seconds, then 15 seconds, and then 20 seconds of body weight squats. And he wanted you to use your like medium heavy weights for the minute and 45 second work periods, and then your heavy weights for the 30 and 15 second. So the goal here is just to, you know, build up a lot of time under tension and feel the burn. And I did feel the burn. I used 20 pounds for the first 2 and 25 pounds for the second 2. I was unsure if that was going to be enough weight, and it definitely was. You are doing basically like 3 minutes of squats in 4 minutes of time. So you definitely are feeling the burn, getting a lot of squats in. I tried to move like pretty quickly, especially when I was at the 20 pounds. So yeah, definitely felt the burn. And we did that set twice with a 1 minute break in between. Then we went into probably what I think was the hardest of the class because I really pushed weight here. It was the chest press set that I remember we did do last week, where we did 30 seconds of crunch presses, then 40 seconds of neutral grip chest press where we were alternating sides, then a 10-second transition and 30 seconds of push-ups. And man, this is just brutal. I used 25 pounds, which I do think is the right weight. That's a very good hard weight for me, but then coming to the push-ups at the end is just cruel. Like I'm already bad at push-ups, and then to have it after this like super hard chest set, you know, they weren't looking pretty. You could tell it was hard because Andy was also doing it on his knees. So I was also doing it on my knees. We were having a push-up on the knees party, but yeah, definitely hard. Just, you could really feel the buildup in your arms. But we got through it. We also did that set twice. Then we went into the next set, which I think is actually a little bit easier. We used a heavy medium weight. I used 20 pounds. Maybe in the future I should push up to 25. But we held a isometric lateral lunge for 20 seconds, I think. And then we did 10 seconds of pulses and then 30 seconds of like normal lateral lunges on one side, 15 seconds rest, did it on the other side, 15 seconds rest, repeat that whole little set. For me, I feel like I have gotten a lot stronger in lateral lunges since this program started. So honestly, that didn't feel that bad. Then we went into a back set where we did renegade rows, 40 seconds on just one side while we were on our knees, 10 seconds rest, 40 seconds on the other side, 10 seconds rest, flip over, 40 seconds of a dumbbell lat pullover, 10 seconds rest, and then got up and did 30 seconds of reciprocal rows. So he's basically like, yeah, you should never not be moving, go pretty fast. I used 25 pounds for all of the work that was done on the mat. And then for the reciprocal rows, I went down to 20 pounds. That was definitely the right move. I could really feel the burn in the rows. Like the other moves were hard, but I feel like reasonable, but you could like really feel the build up once you got to the rows. At least I could. And we did that set twice. And then we finished off with a little arm AMRAP, which I can still feel the burn in my arms from this AMRAP. It was 10 bicep curls, 8 tricep kickbacks, 6 tricep push-ups, and then 4 mountain climbers. I used 15 pounds. I feel like no matter how much I work out, I just like cannot advance to 20 pounds in the curls. I don't know why, but 15 pounds still feels like a huge challenge. Like I was not going fast on this AMRAP. I think I did a little under 3 rounds in 4 minutes. So yeah, not quick, but I was trying my hardest. And yeah, I definitely could feel the burn from this one. So that was effective. And then the class was over. Definitely a good day today. I'm interested to see how conditioning goes tomorrow because he's like, last week the conditioning class was pretty easy, but he's like, we're going to spice it up tomorrow. So he's already preparing us for a harder day tomorrow, but today was good. Definitely an effective hypertrophy class. Not my preferred way to work out, but I definitely see the benefit. Enjoyability for today, I would give like a 6.5 out of 10. I feel like the moves aren't my absolute favorite, but we got through it. It was not a bad class, but it's definitely not like my favorite class in the week. Difficulty, I would give like an 8 out of 10. It was difficult and you could definitely feel the buildup and the burn, but that's like the point of this class. But again, I feel like I always got like reasonable recovery and he does balance well, in my opinion, with like working hard and getting recovery. But yeah, wow, I still feel the burn, which does feel rewarding, but it was very hard in the moment. So a good way to wrap up day 4, and I'm excited to wrap up the week tomorrow. It is now the next day, it's Friday morning, and we love Fridays, and we're ready to wrap up week 4. Today's classes is the 10-minute warm-up, and then we go into a 30-minute full body strength. The description is close out week 4 with this conditioning focused 30-minute full body workout. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little sore, a little tired from yesterday, but conditioning shouldn't be too bad, a little lower weight, a little higher reps. And I trust Andy, so let's go to the gym, hit the mat, and knock out week 4, day 5. I think that this was a good class to wrap up the week. Pretty similar to last week, we did basically the same exact conditioning set. So we had the 10-minute warm-up, that was good, ready to retire that one and go on to next week's. And then we got into the 30-minute class, which was another 6-minute bodyweight warm-up. Then we just did like one mega set the whole time. So the set was dumbbell snatches for 45 seconds, 15 seconds rest, and this was the big difference from this class to last week. Last week it was 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. This week it was 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, which, doesn't seem like a lot, but if we keep progressing in this way, I can see how it's going to progress. And I used 15 pounds for everything. We started off with snatches, just using one weight. Then we picked up both weights and we did our squat, curl, push press combo. Then we did wood chops with just one weight. We did like 20 seconds on one side, 20 seconds on the other side. Then we did some sort of lunge where we varied. Sometimes we did a weighted lunge. Sometimes we did jump lunges, which, man oh man, are those hard. And on our last set, we just finished off with normal reverse lunges, which felt really good after the lunge jumps. And then we finished off by going on the mat, doing our crab and candle light moves for a little core burnout. And we did that set 4 times. The third time he changed it and we turned it into a 5-minute AMRAP instead of a 5-minute work period, where we did 5 of each move except for the wood chops, and the lunge jumps we did 8 of each move. So yeah, I feel like it was a good workout. It was definitely something that kind of got my heart rate up more than felt a lot of burnout. I'm not sure if I should go up to 20 pounds. 15 pounds doesn't feel that hard, but during the AMRAP, he was like, you should do 3 sets of this. And I only got 2.5 sets in, and it wasn't like I was taking breaks. So I don't know. I don't know if 15 pounds is the right weight. I'm also tired from yesterday still, so 15 pounds was not the most challenging thing in the world, but I didn't feel like I was bored or not getting anything out of it. So jury's still out if I'm on the right weight. Maybe I'll try to push up to 20. I just think 20 will be a really big push, and I'm not sure if that's really the purpose of this class. I feel like, yeah, it's more conditioning, it's more lower weight and higher rep. But let me know what you do on this class. I would be very curious. Enjoyability for this class, I would give a 7 out of 10. I feel like, it's the end of the week. I'm feeling a little tired from strength. It's not the absolute worst class, but it isn't the best either, in my opinion. I do like that we do a mega set that does make the time pass by quickly. And kind of my favorite thing about this program in general is that even if I wake up and I don't really want to do strength, it's you do the 10-minute warm up and then you do another 5 to 6 minute warm up in the class. So by the time that you actually get to lifting hard weights, you're already so far into it that you're all right, I feel like I can do this now. So I feel like it does build up nicely, and then yeah, the actual lifting part goes by pretty quickly. Difficulty, I would give a 7 out of 10 as well. Definitely not that difficult in a weight perspective, but my heart rate was up. I was in zone 3 for 15%, which is not a ton of time. But honestly, any time in zone 3 shows that, yeah, my heart rate is pretty high for strength. So overall, a good class, not a great class, but kind of what I expected. And I'm gonna wrap up the video here and then start a new video for weeks 5 and 6 to finish off the program. But yeah, I really feel like weeks 3 and 4, we amped it up a lot. I feel like in weeks 1 and 2, there were a lot of classes that I thought were a little bit on the easier side, or I didn't really see the whole trajectory of the program. But now we are definitely in the meat and potatoes of the class, and I've been really, really enjoying it. A lot of the classes are very, very highly rated by me, and even the classes today where it's not highly rated, I see the purpose, and it still was not a bad class. So I've really been loving this program. I'm really excited to see how we're gonna wrap it up in the next 2 weeks, see the strength test. Did I get stronger? I mean, I definitely did. Even now I feel so much stronger. Definitely a lot more confidence in at least my lunges. Feel like I've been pushing the weight a little bit more. So yeah, I've been really, really loving this program so far. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys are staying safe, having an awesome week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.